So we're talking again about Eamon Ryan, the Minister for Environment, and I have to say, uh, he's really, really lost the plot, and I think he's on another planet. I really, really do think he's lost the plot altogether. Either that, or he's in a sleep trance where he doesn't know what's happening. So first of all, Eamon Ryan, I don't know what to say about you. Because you should be at the Chinese embassy asking them about all the emissions they're putting into the planet. And you even take the example in Ukraine, the war in Ukraine. The Russian tanks are using oil in the tankers, and it's causing a lot more harm to the environment and a few people burning tough in the rural parts of Ireland. And again, wouldn't you know, the city politician, Eamon Ryan's a city politician, he wouldn't have a clue about rural Ireland. He wouldn't have a clue what a bog is. He'd never probably seen a bog in his life because he's too busy in bed all the time, asleep, or even on the chair on the door. But this is the thing too. At least, what I would say is at least Leo knows that he's pushing the limit here. That people are not very happy at the moment. With the carbon tax and things like that. Especially now, as cost of living has gone up, etc. Exceptionally high. Regarding electricity and then even food and basic needs. Even heating your house, oil in your house has gone up exponentially, and even even buying coal, it's gone up if you use the fire or things like that. It costs a lot. It does cost a lot. But yeah, so Leo's basically, so there's a bit of cracks in the coalition. But Eamon Ryan seems like he's determined to get this going. So either this could bring down the government, maybe it could, if he doesn't get his way. But yeah, we all knew that the Green Party were bringing this agenda when they got into government. Because Fine Gael and Fianna Fáil bending over backwards to Eamon Ryan and to the Green Party. But again, I say this to Eamon Ryan, the war in Ukraine is producing 50 years worth of Ireland's emission at the moment in time. If you think about rockets, if you think about the amount of oil the tanks are using, the vehicles and things like that, it's causing more emissions into the atmosphere than anything else. So even the volcano in Tonga erupting there a few months ago, years and years worth of emissions. I said that's probably nearly 100 years worth of Ireland's emissions that was sent up to the atmosphere by a natural disaster that nobody had any control over. And I know, and again, this is the thing, especially as I say this, it's so hard for people at the moment. It'd be different if the country, there was no such thing as a lockdown, everything was everything was still going good, and the economy was going good as it was in 2019, there was no lockdown, things like that. People had money to spare, maybe to go off the tough or maybe go off the coal and switch to other means of heating the house. And that would have been fair. I'm sure you would agree if people had the money. But again, it's different. It's difficult now because everything's gone up, and expecting them people to bend over backwards and basically change everything about the way they heat the house. It's not a good idea. Maybe give it a year or two. Maybe say we'll come back to it. But at the end of the day, as I keep saying to you, as I keep saying to people, it's not Ireland's to blame. It's China. It's India. It's these Asian countries. Because again, as you know, the majority of the pollution you see in China, they have hundreds of coal plants burning coal every day of the week. And then don't even get me started about the factories producing plastic products, burning emissions in the atmosphere. Think about all that. And in India too, and all these Asian countries. Even though Ireland has barely 1% of the global emissions, and to hear the Green Party, you think Ireland was the biggest industrial power on the planet, which I don't know where they're coming from. And again, I just want to briefly touch too. It was mentioned the other day that farmers will probably need to have a license to have cattle. So I don't know what you would say about that. But so Eamon Ryan seems like he's going to fuck over the farmers. But again, this is the thing, and Leo has to kind of understand, and I think Leo does understand this at the moment, that the farmers wouldn't be too pleased with them at the moment. Because again, Fine Gael used to be the farmers' party. A lot of farmers I knew voted Fine Gael. And now, they're obviously voting Sinn Féin now. They've changed. And because again, the farmers have been let down by Fine Gael and Fianna Fáil. Constantly. And again, as you see this now with Eamon Ryan, whatever support's left for the farmers in Fine Gael, it's going to wane very quickly, especially when they have to have special licenses to have cattle, because they seem to be obsessed too in reducing the suckler herd, because the cows' farts are causing God knows what harm, as they more or less say. But it's okay for other countries to do it. We can import from other countries, isn't it? That's logic, but that's what they're saying, more or less. But it makes no sense. It just makes no sense. But again, modern day Ireland, makes no sense. Makes no sense whatsoever. But yeah, let me know what you think. I know, again, as I say, Eamon Ryan needs to cop on a bit, and wake up, basically, to wake up and see what's happening around him. Because he's not talking any sense. Like, he's not bringing anything to the table that needs to be brought to. He's saying about taking less showers, drive slow to work. What the fuck is that supposed to do for the only working man in the morning? That advice. That's no action. That's just talking shite. As we know, Eamon Ryan's known for talking shite anyway. Talks absolute rubbish sometimes. But anyway, let me know what you think and subscribe more, and bye.